I believe a lot of things. I believe that Revenge of the Sith is a really good Star Wars movie. I believe the Pokemon franchise has been on a bit of a decline the last several years. I believe that Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time is overrated. But most importantly,
I believe in Joe Hendry. I
so
believe in
that's
Joe
why today
Hendry.
we're talking about the 5 names I see leaving TNA and going to WWE very soon. And by very soon, I mean as soon as their contracts are out. Getting the obvious one out of the way, we all know that Joe Hendry might as well be a part of the NXT roster at this point. He's main eventing No Mercy in a few weeks against Ethan Page, and it was already pretty much answered recently when WWE was asked by sources if they had interest in Joe Hendry when his contract was up. Who wouldn't? We know his contract with TNA isn't up until the end of next year, but we recently saw Jordan Grace's contract amended to end a little sooner in 2025. We could very well see the same thing with Joe Hendry, or we could kind of see this shared custody thing going on. But I do know shared custody can be a little tough. You're looking at a product of shared custody right here. However, we're starting off with Joe Hendry because he's kind of the easy one. He's kind of the obvious one. WWE are already treating him like he's one of their contracted wrestlers. He works at the PC every week. Like, he works out there. He trains there. He's main eventing No Mercy. He very well could be the NXT champion soon. There's no real certainty on whether or not he's going to win that title or not for me. I could see it going either way at No Mercy, and I'm very excited for that matchup next week. Next week's going to be a big triple watch along, quadruple watch along weekend. We're going to be watching Emergence and SmackDown at the same time. And then we've got Bash in Berlin the next day. And we've got No Mercy on Sunday. It's going to be a crazy weekend next week. I'm really excited about it. I'm glad I got that Monday off from my new job to recover a little bit from it. That being said, moving on to the other really obvious one, Jordan Grace, we just talked about a second ago. Her contract's coming up in just a couple of months now. It was meant to be up at the beginning of January. I very well see WWE snagging her up immediately. She's got the WWE look. She already knows how to wrestle the WWE style. We saw her compete at Battleground a few months ago. WWE, the NXT fans now know who she is. WWE fans were introduced to her at the Royal Rumble. I very well see her coming in and going straight to main roster, bypassing NXT, with her match at Battleground being considered her run in NXT, to say the least. I think Jordan Grace is definitely WWE bound, and I think it's a matter of when, not if. I think a couple of years ago I said the same thing, but then she ended up re-signing with TNA. But I think now more than ever she is WWE bound sooner rather than later. Now, I got 3 other acts or names in here that I tried to go a little more outside the box with. I mean, look at it. We're trying to get to 10 minutes because that's kind of how long YouTube wants videos to be. And, like, see down here, we're hopefully over 10 minutes by the end of this thing. And I still got 3 more acts to try and justify on why I think they should go to WWE or why I think they will go to WWE when their TNA contracts are up. Now, the first one is one that I think a lot of people have talked about a little bit. TNA has both of these guys locked down on contracts as far as I'm aware, but they're both young, they are incredible in the ring, and I think that when their contracts are coming up, there's going to be a bidding war between WWE and AEW for them. I think that they are a great addition to the tag team division. They are honestly the best tag team in TNA right now, if not one of the best in ring tag teams in the world. I'm talking about ABC. I'm talking about Ace Austin and Chris Bay, the Ace and Bay connection. I'm talking about these two because 2 years ago, when I first started watching TNA when it was still Impact, I had no idea who these guys were. They were just a couple of young guys in Bullet Club that I had never seen before, and I could have taken them or left them. But then I actually started watching TNA weekly, and good lord, are they not one of the best tag teams in the world? These two put on incredible tag match after incredible tag match. They've both got pretty solid skills on the microphone. They've got good personality. They've got that character down. They know who they are. Chris Bay knows he's the ultimate finesser. Ace Austin knows what the inevitable Ace Austin means. It's not just a catchphrase. He's got personality to him. They both have so much personality, so much flash and style in that ring, while also being really good wrestlers when it comes down to it. I think WWE would definitely want these guys, whether it's straight to NXT or straight to main roster. There's ready-made stories there with Finn Balor being the founder of Bullet Club, AJ Styles being a leader of Bullet Club, Gallows Anderson being in Bullet Club with those guys a couple of years ago, back on the independents in 2021 into 2022. I think that Ace and Bay, I think it's very likely we see them in the WWE one day. I do think AEW would make a strong play for them as well. They've got that AEW tag team style down, obviously. They're younger, they're smaller guys, they're high flyers, so that might steer them more towards AEW. But I think WWE, especially with the working relationship, I think we'll be seeing ABC appear in NXT at some point soon. And I also think that when those contracts are up, WWE will make a play to try and sign them over to be full-time WWE guys. And I'd love to see it. I think they'd slot into any of the rosters. I mean, imagine them in there with the Street Profits, in there with DIY, in there with Gallows and Anderson. I know they've mixed it up with Gallows and Anderson a little bit in the past, but in there with Gallows and Anderson now, in there with the Creeds, in there with just all these other great teams. WWE has so many great teams right now, but the tag titles on Raw at least just are filler for the Judgment Day storyline, and I kind of hate that they've become filler when there's so many good teams on Raw as well. ABC versus AOP, I'd love to see that. Big guys versus small guys, just to name a few matches I'd love to see there with the Ace and Bay connection. So there are your first three. We still got two others I want to talk about here. And so the fourth act on my list that I want to talk about going from TNA to WWE is MK Ultra. Now, Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich haven't been a team for several months now. They lost the tag titles to Spitfire, Danny Luna, and Jody Threat a few months ago now. And then Killer Kelly's been off doing other stuff on the indies. I think she's rehabbing an injury as well, from what I remember. But I think her and Masha both, whether it's as a team or as individuals, I think they've got that Triple H look, as I have referred to it before. They've got like a very metal style. The entrances, everything is there. Triple H is a guy who loves an entrance. And these two, especially together with the dog collar, have got an entrance down together. I think that their personalities, their characters lean heavily into the less PG style, the more TV-14 we've been seeing from WWE as of late. And, my God. Killer Kelly and Rhea Ripley. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. Okay, that kind of joking aside, I do think they're both also incredibly young still. I mean, they're both in their 20s last I checked. They've got long careers ahead of them. They're so good in the ring. Killer Kelly, of course, had that run in NXT UK. I think her name might be the one issue keeping WWE from bringing her into main roster, but obviously they could just rename her if they really needed to. They probably would anyway. But I'd love to see MK Ultra mixing it up in the tag team division, or lack thereof, in WWE. I really hope they do put more focus on the women's tag team titles. They have been lately. I've really enjoyed, I enjoy the work of Sonya, Shayna, Zoe as a trio. I cannot call them Pure Fusion Collective. It's just a terrible name. I like their work. I like Damage Control, specifically when it's Io and Kyrie together. I mean, you got the Unholy Union in there. You've got The Way. You look at NXT, and you've got Fatal Attraction. No. Fatal something. Fallon Henley, Jasmine Nix, JC Jane. You got Fatal Influence. That's what it's called. You can delete the comment before you even post it. I think MK Ultra fits right in with all those teams. I think it'd be really cool. And especially they've both got such good single sides to them as well. Masha's so young and so good. I could see them building NXT around her. Killer Kelly, so young, so good. I feel like she's a little more main roster than NXT in my opinion, but Masha is just this killer in the ring, and I feel like there's a lot there as well for both of them. I'd really like to see them in WWE one day as well. And that brings us on to the final name that I want to talk about going to WWE. And now I'm not going to do a cop-out. I'm not going to go, oh, Matt Cardona. Let me tell you why Matt Cardona would work in WWE. No one's ever thought of that one before. No one's ever seen the idea of Matt Cardona in WWE. Although he might not be able to use the name Matt Cardona, so maybe we should call him like, oh, I don't know, Zack Ryder or something. I hear no one's using that name. I'm not going to do all of that. I'm not going to go on a long, drawn-out tangent like that, although you can tell I'm kind of stalling. But the last one is Hammerstone. I mean, this guy looks like a WWE guy already. I think the only thing going against him is height. Like, let me double check. What is his height? I think he's like, yeah. No, he's 6'4". He's 6'4". I don't even know why I thought he was short. I don't know where I got the idea that he was like 5'11" from. But no, dude's 6'4", 251. He's 33. That's still young in wrestling, in my opinion. Dude's got so much upside. I don't know much about him like with character. I don't know how much character he's got. I will be the first to admit I've not seen too much character work from him. I've mainly seen his work in TNA since this year started, where we haven't gotten too much character from him. I don't know too much about it. I know he was in Dynasty and in MLW with MJF and Richard Holiday. I know about that. So obviously, AEW might try and make a grab for him for that because Tony likes a good indie storyline, and that's not a shot at AEW by any means. That's just stating fact that they do call back to people's history on the indies a little more than WWE. WWE does it more so now than they used to, but Hammerstone, to stop burying the lead here, I think Hammerstone's got WWE guy written all over him. I mean, he's big, he's jacked, he's not bad in the ring by any means. He's got history with people like Jacob Fatu in there as well. I think he's a guy that you could bring in and you could build him up as like, God, can I like at this point the name Brock Lesnar has got such a sour reputation to it that you can't even be like you could bring him in Brock Lesnar him through NXT. You could Braun Breaker him through NXT. You could Gunther him. There we go. There's some better wrestler names as adjectives for not controversial people right now. So there you go. There's my answer there. But yeah, there you go. There's my 5 big names or acts that I think WWE will have interest in, should have interest in when their TNA contracts are up. Joe Hendry, Jordan Grace, ABC, MK Ultra, Hammerstone. I feel like those are some pretty solid names. But tell me, who do you think from the TNA roster WWE should make a grab for when their contracts are up? I like doing these kind of videos. What else do we want to see? I was going to do some all-in predictions, but I don't keep up with AEW week to week. I'm not the biggest AEW fan, and it would just be me sitting here going, I don't know. Maybe this person's going to win, and that wouldn't really be fun. But hey, join me later for TNA Watch Along on this channel. Join me tomorrow for the SmackDown live reactions. Not going to be doing anything live on here this weekend, but I will be trying to get more content out on this channel regularly. So be sure to like, subscribe, all that. And like I said, tell me who you would say WWE should sign from TNA once their contracts are up. And I will see all of you next time.